folks? Happy Saturday morning rant on this rainy day in Harlem. What do I want to talk about today? I want to talk about something different. So I'm always talking about, not always, but I do talk about leadership in nonprofits. I talk about leadership in philanthropy. But every once in a while, I like to bring it down a little bit, hold a lens on other people. Can't let like the middle level staff, the front level staff get away with the bullshit. So today I want to talk about applying for jobs at nonprofits. So if you're applying for a job at a nonprofit and you found that shit on Indeed, or one of your friends said you a good fit, and you look at the salary range and it's like 65 to 78,000. The first thing is read that shit. Like, read the job description. People put time into that shit. Read the job description before you apply for the job. That's first of all. I've hired like 100 people in my career, most of them in nonprofit. I've screened hundreds, couple hundred, few hundred people. Definitely seen like 5,000 resumes in my life. So I'm going to use this rant to talk a little bit about what you could do to position yourself to get this job, and what you could do to not fuck it up. So the first thing I would say is like benefits. Like, if you know you need benefits, before you apply for the job, you got to be like, yo, is there any benefits associated with this position? Fringe benefits. You know what benefits are? Because I know one thing, black folks be feeling like they can't negotiate shit. I'm telling you, like, act like a white dude and negotiate some shit. So if you know you need benefits, like, it's not even just you. You got some ugly little kids. You got to take your kids to the doctor. You need health benefits. You need to know when them shit start. Ask that question. And don't wait till like the third interview to ask that question. Although most nonprofits have like 8.5 interviews for you to get the job anyway. And the last one is always a panel interview because nobody wants to be responsible for making the final decision. But that's a whole nother story, a whole nother rant for a whole nother day. But for you, ask about those benefits. Ask about how much they paid for versus how much you paid for. 70%, 80%, 90%, 100%, because that's money. That's money. You don't think about that, but that's money. That's like on top of salary. And then for y'all who like to disappear, take your time off, which you should, ask about vacation. Ask about sick days. Ask about personal days. Ask about holidays. Some nonprofits got unlimited PTO. I don't even know what the fuck that is. Like, unlimited? I will never fucking come to work. Like, unlimited paid time off. I ain't never fucking coming to work. Straight jacket. Anyway, benefits. Ask about benefits. And then you knew, like, if you apply for a job, first of all, you know you're applying for a job called Senior Level Media Development Database Facilities Front Desk Clerk Program Manager. You know you're applying for a job that's probably confusing, especially if it's a nonprofit with a budget under $500,000, because they can't afford the positions they want. So they just try to fit everything into one position. Ask questions. But when you get on the interview, don't give me no lengthy answers. That's one thing. Yo, when I'm on an interview and I start out by saying we have 45 minutes for this interview, I'm going to ask questions for 35 and give you 10 minutes to ask questions. And then you take 15 and a half minutes to answer the first question. I say to myself, that's just how they're going to be when they get the job. Like, do what you got to do. Get a motherfucking Apple Watch or some shit that delivers like an electric fucking volt every 2 minutes or something. Something to make you realize that after 2 minutes, you need to stop. Especially if you're nervous, anxious. I get that. That's what people do when they're nervous and anxious. They just word vomit. Just give it all to me. No, not a good sign. Probably not going to get the job. If you looked on Indeed for the job and you saw a great job and you was interested, or you just in the market and Indeed got this great little function where you can just send your resume out to 100 employers, I'm going to tell you something. We know that shit. Employers know it. When we look at the resumes, we like, yo, what the fuck? This don't even match the job description. Like, why is this person applying for this job? Don't use that function. Act like you actually legitimately interested in the fucking job. Cover letters. Let's talk about cover letters for a minute. Don't use some standard cover letter that you found on the internet. Make that shit personal. Even if it's shorter, make it personal. And stop taking the same cover letter that you just sent to TGI Fridays and Microsoft and send it to me and forget to take TGIF off of it. So now I got a cover letter talking about how excited you are about working at TGIFs. I'm glad for you. You ain't gonna be working here though. Take that shit off the cover. Like, look at the cover letter. Don't make it more than one page either. People be doing cover letters 2, 3, 4 pages. I didn't ask you to testify in front of the fucking United Nations. It's a cover letter. But don't make it less than 3 sentences either, because that's some lazy shit. People be like, 3-sentence cover letters. Clearly you in a rush. You applying for every goddamn job on the internet. Okay, when you put together your resume, 3, 4 bullets under each job. Not 8, 9, 10, 12, 50. I've seen people use a whole page of bullet points under one job. I'm going to talk about resume lengths in a second. But that's some crazy shit. Like if you went up in, and then some of y'all be all up in Chat GPT. I saw a job description. It was like responsible for the meticulous orchestration and seamless facilitation of administrative endeavors, catering to the multifarious needs, whims, and caprices of a quintet of esteemed nonprofit executives, thereby ensuring the harmonious synchronization of their professional aspirations and operational exigencies, and thereby contributing indispensably to the cultivation of an environment conducive to the cultivation of philanthropic endeavors and the propagation of societal betterment. What the fuck are you talking about? Did you support 5 executives? You was an admin? Just say that. Just say that. Check the spelling on your resume. Spell check. Shit was invented. See? In 1989. Spell check. Just use that shit. Use spell check. It's so easy. If you spell shit wrong on your resume or on your cover letter, you know what my assumption is? You're going to be spelling some shit wrong when you work here. You're going to get screened out. If you're going to use a generic template, personalize that shit. Personalize it. And if you don't feel good about it, ask your moms to take a look. Ask somebody to take a look. Stop sending in generic shit. The shit is so obvious these days. Everybody knows about AI. Everybody's expecting some generic shit. And stop including irrelevant and outdated shit too. Like I actually don't give a fuck what you did in preschool. Like I don't care how well you did in the Girl Scouts, how many awards you got when you was in the Girl Scouts. List your responsibilities, list your achievements, and your email address. Yo, the chance of me getting your email address right, if it's like Mishi892178Brooklyn@AOL.com, is probably slim to none. I'm gonna fuck up those numbers. I'm over 50. I'm gonna fuck up those numbers. I'm telling you. Get some simple shit. Michelle Johnson _ at whatever, gmail.com. AOL if you're 100 years old. Tailor the resume to the job. I don't care if you ever work to move pallets with a forklift. I don't care if you can use a forklift. I don't care. You might care and you think it's important. I get it. I don't care. Keep your resume at 1 page. Keep your motherfucking resume at 1 page. At the most 2 pages. I've seen resumes from people that have led large institutions for years, worked in all sorts of significant roles as executive directors and presidents and CEOs, and they still got a resume that's 1 or 2 pages at the most. 1 page though. 1 page. Just put the most important shit on your, and don't get all complex with the language either. People would be like, I used to use the fluctuator modulator at this job. I don't know what the fuck that is. I never worked at TGIF. I don't know what the fluctuator modulator is. And then the ones who get all cute with the hobbies, I get it, it's nonprofit. We supposed to give a fuck about people outside of work. Okay, you like to walk rescue dogs. I get it. Fuck does that have to do with this job though? I would save the space. You trying to stay at 1 page on a resume? Get rid of the dog walking. And then people who provide false information. Everybody exaggerates on their resume. Everybody's trying to fill the gaps. Y'all know I give a fuck about formerly incarcerated people, so y'all got to fill some motherfucking gaps. Just fill the gaps with what the fuck you did while you was in prison. Just tell them what you did. If you worked in prison, you worked. If you was a clerk, you was a clerk. If you was a porter, you was a porter. Whatever. Put that shit on your resume, but don't be lying so much. Like, don't be telling me you worked at a nonprofit after that nonprofit went out of business. I'm 50-something fucking years old. I've been around a long time. I know what the fuck is going on in this nonprofit space. Start dates. Yo, people be interviewing for jobs in July. Get the job, negotiate that shit, negotiate the benefit, get the employer all excited. We got the right person. And then you be like, but I was hoping I could start just right after Thanksgiving because, you know, I've scheduled some trips. You know, I got a safari coming up in August. And, you know, I really can't take that off my resume, off my agenda, off my calendar. And I just want to know if I could start right after Thanksgiving. No, motherfucker. Like, we need you now. Most nonprofits need your ass yesterday. They just ain't acting desperate during the interview process. You can't start after Thanksgiving. Your references. I don't give a fuck about your references before I read your resume. Leave them off your resume. If I want your references, I'll ask for them. And everybody just gives the people who gonna say the best shit anyway. I don't need to know your references. I'll get to your references. And for people who list resumes that have references of people who you know gonna say the best shit, first of all, if it's your motherfucking peers and not your supervisor, red flag. Second of all, I'm goddamn good at interviewing people. I'm gonna get your references to tell me some shit. They not gonna know, but I'm gonna get your references to tell me some shit. So stop with the reference shit on your resume at the beginning. Just taking up space. Get that shit down to one page. Take your references off. Nobody really gives a fuck. It's like checking a box. Most people ain't even good at asking questions and references to get the right answer. Zoom. Everything is on Zoom these days. People ain't meeting in person. People done gave up that shit. Nobody don't want diseases. Nobody don't want COVID. Most interviews happen via Zoom. Take your motherfucking laptop. Put some books up under that shit so that you look like you on CNN. That's just the way to do it. Like, so you looking at me right on. So I feel like I'm having a conversation with you. So I can sort of experience your energy, your aura, and who you are. Don't be looking down at me like I'm a cock of fucking roach on your countertop that you about to smash. Like, just elevate that shit. And if you got a phone, prop that shit up somewhere. Don't be holding it and moving it. I understand some people ain't got no computers. You got a phone. Good. I'm all good with that. Prop that shit up a bit. Make me look right in your eyes. Make me get a sense of who the fuck you are. Lastly, your network. I'm about to bust your fucking bubble. Most people don't get jobs off of Indeed and shit like that. Most people get jobs through their network. If you ain't got no network, you just came home from prison, you don't really like people like me, build your network anyway. First of all, I got a network, even though I don't like most people. I like some people. I know some people like, damn, that nigga don't like me. No, I like you. I just don't like other people. So I understand people don't really have a network, but try to build a network, because that's how the fuck you get a job. You start telling people, yo, I'm in the market. Yo, let's have coffee. Yo, I'm looking for a job. And then tell people what the fuck you looking for. Don't just be like, I'm looking for a job. Ain't nobody the motherfucking job fairy. Like, tell them what the fuck you looking for so they could keep you in mind and either create a job for you or keep an eye out for you or let other people know about you. Don't just be like, I'm looking for a job. This is not fucking communist Russia. Ain't nobody handing out motherfucking jobs. Tell them what the fuck you looking for, but work your network, because that's how the fuck people find jobs. And if you don't have a network, I'm going to tell you how to build a network quickly. Call up or email nonprofit people in leadership and be like, yo, I was wondering if you would do a 20 or 30-minute conversation with me to talk about your work. Motherfuckers love talking about themselves. They love that shit. And nonprofits, why you think we got so many motherfucking conferences and panel discussions and podcasts and Zoom fucking calls and everything? Motherfuckers love talking about themselves, present company included. Just give people a chance to talk about themselves for like 15, 20 minutes. Nod your head up and down like a fucking bauble doll. They love that shit. Then mirror their words back to them. how amazing it is, the work they're doing, how exciting it is, how you'd love to learn more, how you'd love to be a part of their vision, how you'd love to be a player on the team, how you'd love to help them execute a program, what values you think you bring to the table. Boom, you just built your network. Even if that shit don't translate into a job next week, do that shit 20, 30 times in like a year. I guarantee you going forward, you never probably look for a job again. You never look for a job. You got a network now. That's how the fuck people find jobs. You stay up on Indeed if you want. That shit is like a 1 out of 100 chance trying to get a job. Because I could interview 10 people for a job, and then somebody calls me up like, yo, G, I'm looking. And I know them, and I know how they work and how they show up, and the fact that they're diligent and they get the job done and all that sort of shit. Boom, I'm done with those interviews. I just did that shit a couple of weeks ago. Anyway, that's what I got for y'all today. This ain't the normal rant. This ain't the normal rant. I ain't bitching. I ain't complaining. I ain't saying fuck you to everybody. But I just thought today on this rainy day, I was just feeling like I need to put a little bit of sort of gifts out into the world for people. So I hope people that's listening to this, that's looking for a job, I know how hard that shit is, a fucked up economy. And for poor people, that means the economy's even fucking worse. I feel for y'all. And this is all in the spirit of trying to help y'all get employed and shit. Anyway, that's what I got for you today on this rainy motherfucking day in Harlem. But you know what they say about rain? Rain brings out rainbows. And you know how I feel about rainbows. Don't let nobody steal mine. Don't let nobody steal yours. It's good to see y'all. See you next Saturday. Peace.